Okay, here we are. So let's jump into the bowl of embers. Now we'll just skip the intros and stuff, and I'll do them later in post, providing this DPS readies. That is. Maybe, potentially, hopefully. No, maybe not. Well, while we wait for that, also, as you can probably see, okay, well, we'll wait for that to repop, there it is. As you can see down here, we've got the Make It Rain campaign, which is basically a event that takes place in the Gold Saucer. So, once this is complete, we'll also be doing the Lord of the Inferno, hearken to our plea. Lord of the Inferno, deliver us from our misery. O mighty Ifrit, Lord of the Inferno, your humble servants beseech you, grace us with your divine presence. O mighty Ifrit, we bring you ignorant savages who know not your godhood. If it please you, Lord, scorch their heathen souls with your cleansing flame and mark them as your own. Bloody hells! Bring those two as well. Ugh. What's going on? This ain't what we agreed. None but servants of Lord Ifrit may behold the right of summoning. The souls of unbelievers are forfeit. No, spare me, I beg you. Bitter tears of the man, by my breath I claim you. Arise once more as my loyal minions, feed my flame with your face, and all who stand against us shall burn. O mighty Ifrit, mourn to regard. Your words are my bread. Impossible. By what sorcery do you resist my master's will? Could it be? Your soul already belongs to another. Yes, that is the only explanation. Always thy frail mortal frame can serve as a vessel to the blessing of but one. Yet I smell not the taint of another upon thee. The truth of thine allegiance waxeth clear. Thou art of the godless blessed number. The paragon born of light abhorrent kind, thy existence is not to be summoned. We'll be doing the quest that comes along with the event, so yeah. Alright, so let's say hello. And it doesn't matter that we didn't have the job of warrior because we've only got marauder anyway, being level 22. And annoyingly, I could have watched the cutscene here rather than having to add it in post, as you'll have seen. As this person is
watching it anyway. But yeah, so we're going to be doing It Could Happen to You as well, which is the quest that gets you to the Gold Saucer, and then we can do the Gold Saucer quest for the event. Also, the Make It Rain campaign isn't only just a like an event quest. Also, any earnings that come from the Gold Saucer are increased by 50%. So for instance, let's say you get 100 gil, 100 MGP from one of the enjoyments or the activities, you'll be getting 150 reward instead. There are gates, and we'll explain what they are in a minute once we get there. But there are gates that are I want to protect. Yeah. Gates that'll give you 4 grand usually, but with this event going, they're up to 6 grand. Okay. Also, the weird thing about this battle, and something that they don't really do too much once they start standardizing everything, is the AoEs are marked with just like cracks, fiery cracks in the ground. As you can see there, that's an AoE. It's not the threshold is not clearly defined. What you'll also notice potentially is that Road to 60 is gone. So recently the server that I'm on went from being a preferred server to a standard server, which means that Road to 60 is no longer active, sadly. But I mean, we've got a healthy level gap, so it's not too terrible. It's not like we're gonna catch up too quickly, and it will just mean that I'll have to really be using the roulettes. Maybe got hit by that. Nope. Yeah, I forgot you could stun Ifrit. Not a lot of things can be stunned, but Ifrit is apparently one. Alright. Pray forgive my lateness. I was delayed by a congregation of malicious zealots. I swear, each seemed more evangelical than the last. Persistent lot. You. I see the Bloodsworn wasted no time extracting the captives, no less than I expect from the Flame General's handpicked men. As for those two, it's fair to say their hardships have only just begun. They have much to answer for. I feel I owe you an apology, Scarlett. Had I known this mission would prove so dangerous, I would never have left you to face it alone. You have been given a veritable baptism of fire. But let us continue this conversation in more agreeable surrounds. Camp Dryburn, shall we? This way, sir. So that was the mighty Ifrit. And what a disappointment he was. The readings are nowhere near what I had anticipated, even taking Gul'dan interference into account. You should know better than to rely on 5-year-old data left by the 7th Legion. Nor can we expect any form of support from the motherland, given the troubles at court. We have only ourselves to rely on. You, ever the persistence, my dear Libya. Promise me you'll never change. We've wasted enough time here. That meter of yours is too old to give any reading worth a damn. Not that there was aught worth a damn for it to read, but I take your point. I suppose we must content ourselves with the knowledge that we have achieved our primary objective. Yet I find that I am troubled by the adventurer's unexpected show of strength. Could such a foe prove a hindrance to our plans? Perhaps, but that is a consideration for another time. You have been given a task that is your priority. I suggest you treat it as such. Fail to do as my lord commands, and I will spare him the trouble of punishing you. With allies like that, beware a woman in love. I shall need be on my best behavior. Okay. Thanks. Thank the party. Usually you'd go with a healer, but well, they kept us alive. We'll keep the healer. Let's head out. Eastern Bow. And there should be something here, actually. No, there isn't. Alright, we'll talk to Thancred, Lord of the Inferno. Ah, there you are, Scarlett. Come rest a while. You will have no better opportunity. After witnessing their god's ignominious defeat, the Emulger will be less inclined to risk our wrath for a time, at least. Now, where were we? Ah, yes. I was in the process of apologizing. I do hope you can forgive me. I arrived too late to be of any use to you or the abductees. They may be whole of body, but the same cannot be said for their minds. For once a man is tempered. But it ill suits me to dwell on the negatives. Amidst all our misfortunes, there is still reason to rejoice. Ifrit is slain, and by your hands, no less. That is the deed of no ordinary individual, Scarlett. Not that I ever thought you were ordinary. On the contrary, I have long suspected that you have the potential to shape the fate of this realm. What can I say? My fine eye for talent remains undimmed. Minfilia will be proud beyond all reckoning when she hears of your deeds. I trust you shan't object to my bearing the tidings to her. That way I can claim to have contributed something to this mission. You, meanwhile, have earned yourself a rest. Take some time to relax and return to the Waking Sands when you're good and ready. We can discuss matters in more detail then. Just don't take too long, will you? The realm's problems won't solve themselves. Okay. So we can report to the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. So we will do that. We just need to head to Horizon. What I also noticed is I didn't get any, annoyingly didn't get any player accommodations. Probably given to the healer. It's usually what happens. It's funny because on my main character, I've been playing on and off for 5 years and I've only just hit 200 play accommodations. DPS just don't get them. And funnily enough, the ones I did have were a brief stint. The very brief stints that I had trying to play healer. So, goes to show you. Alright, so we'll power through here. So yeah, we are level 30, so we're still something like, yeah, we're 10 levels ahead of where the quest line is, so it shouldn't be a problem that we've lost a road to 60. It'll just mean that there might be circumstances where I'll have to be doing the roulettes. I might do them, I don't know if I'll do them here. I might do them in the background, just to get, I mean that's providing that we actually do need the levels, which I don't think we'll do. I mean, we've got 10 levels, that's nothing to scoff at. Alright, how's our gear looking? It's fine. What are you? What's this? Halatali. That's a dungeon. I won't bother with that. Not here anyway. It's just it's a level 20 dungeon. It's actually the first one you can use for squadrons, which is a something that comes up later. But yeah, I don't think I need it right now. Alright, into Menphilia's office. Oh, not even into her office. Ah, the triumphant hero returns. Thancred told us the news upon his arrival. He is presently in the Solar, giving a full report to Lady Menphilia. You should join them at once. Lady Menphilia is most eager to see you. And so we get the Dawn wrist guards. My late arrival nearly cost Scarlett her life. I wasn't there when the Emulger took her prisoner, and I wasn't there when they served her to Ifrit. Yes, by some miracle she survived, but that does not excuse the fact that she should never have had to face such dangers alone. I failed her utterly, just as I'm failing you all. What's done is done, Thancred. You can ill blame yourself for every... Scarlett, it's good to see you again. Impeccable timing, my friend. I had just finished regaling Menphilia with your heroic exploits. Thancred to tell me everything. You have done well to return to us. The perils you faced were undeniably great, yet a part of me believes that I have no cause to fear, and now we can put paid to our long investigation. As we suspected, the Emulger undertook both the robbery and the abductions with the aim of summoning their primal Ifrit. Nor is the tale limited to Uldar. Similar incidents have been rife in both Limsa, Leminsa, and Gridania of late. I dare say you've been curious as to how these crimes are linked to the primals. Permit me to explain. Having manifested in the physical realm, primals must consume aether if they are to maintain their presence here, and the stronger they become, the more aether they require. Now, aether exists throughout creation. It flows through all life and permeates the very air we breathe. Alas, this alone will not suffice to sustain the likes of Ifrit. Nay, he and his kind require a more concentrated source of aether, crystals. It is for that reason that incidents involving crystals can often be tracked to a primal. Which leaves us with the why of the abductions. To understand this, you must first understand how primals are born. When all is well with the world, primals possess no physical form. Their essence is dispersed across the great river of aether. However, when the world is plunged into chaos, those who worship the primals cry out to their gods for deliverance from suffering. These cries serve as a beacon toward which a primal's essence is irresistibly drawn. It is this coming together, or etheric coalescence, which grants the being's physical form. Once born, a primal gains strength from its followers' worship. The more numerous and fervent they are, the more powerful the god becomes. But the primals are seldom satisfied with such reverence as their adherents freely give, and in order to gain more power, they do not scruple to create followers. They do this by tempering mortals, a process to which you yourself were subjected. Yet even as Ifrit took your comrades in his thrall, you alone remained unaffected. This is thanks to the power you possess, the Echo. We know not the why of it, but those blessed with the Echo are immune to primal influence. It is as though a greater power protects us. When first you came to us, I told you that the Echo would be instrumental in dealing with the primal threat. I trust you now begin to see why. The recent incidents all share a common trait: meticulous planning, such elaborate designs, a new development, and one which fills me with an unshakable sense of foreboding. While I share your concern, my presiding feeling is one of relief at your safe return. The immortal flames assured me that they will deal with the aftermath, so note not to concern yourself with that. You may rest easy for a time. I suggest you take full advantage of the respite, Scarlett. You may be sure it won't last long. Once the people learn the identity of the hero who felled Ifrit, I fear you will have nary a moment to yourself. Whether she intended to or not, Minfilian neglected to tell you something. Something I think it would best you heard from one of us. It concerns the tempered abductees that were rescued. I am sorry to report that all are to be put to death, the flames with whom you were imprisoned included. Needless to say, this information must not be made known to the public. I swear to you that we would not do this if there were any other recourse. But once a man is tempered, he is tempered for life. His very existence lends strength to the primal whom he cannot choose but worship. And so we Scions continue our fight, that no more innocents need be sacrificed. I hope that you will continue to stand with us, Scarlett. But I should be going. I must offer my apologies to the Flame General for losing his people, for the losses his people suffered. Till next time. Gods forgive me, how many more lives? Louis Soir would never have allowed this to happen. I have to do better, I have to be stronger. Okay, alright, so we will pass on that, because I have a feeling I know where the next quest takes us, and that's going to be along the Grand Company, getting the Grand Company chosen and stuff like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to head over to Uldar. And we're going to do the It Could Happen to You, which will get us into the Gold Saucer. And then we should be able to pick up the event quest. Now, we specifically want to go to here. So it's probably better just to run. Come on, kitten. And this minion. So I think that's it there. No. Yeah, the Sabaton the Shimmy. This minion, and I think the one that I had last time. Can't remember. This minion you get from Alport. There's a quest there that gets you this minion. And I mean, theoretically, providing you haven't gotten any collector's editions or any veteran awards, this would probably be one of your first minions. Okay, so talk to you. A reception desk for flights bound to the Mandeville Saucer. Before proceeding, I must ask that you submit your ticket for inspection. Ahem. You do have a ticket, yes? Yes, I do. It appears that everything is in order. An airship will be departing shortly. Before the next bell, shall I reserve a seat for you? Yes. Alright. Now, there is an intro thing. And this is the Gold Saucer. It's basically just a little side fun to have kind of thing. You can get glamours, you can get items, you can get mounts, you can get minions. There's also these guys at the triple triad, so trading card kind of thing, collectible card actually. And then you've got like mini games and stuff like this. And yeah, everything here runs off its own currency called the MGP or Mandeville Gold Saucer points. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Gold Saucer points. There's a whole bunch of things to do here to get the MGP. There's Chocobo racing, so you can breed Chocobo for that. There's a thing called the Minion, where you do battle with your minions. It's not as popular as one would hope. You've got Triple Triad, that has different rule sets. There's the Jumbo Cacpot, which is basically a lottery. There's the Mini Cacpot, which is like Scratchies. There are gates. I think they're Gold Saucer active time events or something. There's actually one at the moment, Leap of Faith, and I'm going to ignore this quest and go and do that quickly. And these things spawn every 20-ish minutes. Where am I going? This way. Every 20-ish minutes. And there's a few of them. The one I'm about to do is called Leap of Faith. It's a jumping puzzle one. I enjoy this one the most. Also this and one called Air Force One, which is like an on-rail shooter thing. They provide the most amount of MGP in return. So basically just mosey on over, talk to this subattender, and then you can jump in. Now unfortunately these are instanced, so you can't do them while waiting for dungeons to pop. So basically run over here, and the concept is that you want to get to the goal, as you can see up there, but you also want to collect these little token things along the way. So there are 6 bronze cactuars, 3 silver and 1 gold, and depending on which of those you get when you finish, oops, this fell off. Depending which of those you have by the time you've finished, it depends on what money you get out. And I just thought of it, but I shouldn't have done this first. And the reason I say that is because there's actually an exchange, and you can exchange X amount of gil for MGP, but once you exceed a specific amount, that's no longer available to you. So this will exceed that amount. So, but you know, considering I've only got 5k gil, I don't think I would have had enough for the limit anyway. Alright. Oh no, I've survived. Yep. This one down there. Get that later. And these are often quite populated like this, and it can be very painful at times because you can't see where you're jumping or where you're trying to land, so it can get painful that way, but you learn to make do. Now this isn't the only jumping puzzle. Oops. No, that's about where I wanted to go. So the configuration of this one alters at times. So it's not always in this configuration. Configurations will seem similar, so you'll often see this kind of thing. But like trophy locations might change. You know, while that's there, this part might be different. You know, that kind of stuff. Then you've also got there are other gates, so it's probably easier to go that side. There are other gates. There's one called Cliffhanger. That one's another jumping puzzle. There's a third jumping puzzle one, but I can't remember what that's called. So yeah, leave the attraction, enemy at the gate. We also get achievements. So for that we get 6,000 MGP. So you get 3,000 for just finishing the puzzle, so getting to the goal, and then you get 750 for the gold one, 450 for each silver, and 150 for each bronze. So we've ended up at 6,000. It's usually 4,000, but because of the event, it's increased by 50%. Alright. So we got a couple of achievements there. So we've got earn 1,000 MGP. We've got successfully complete a gate and obtain a gilded cactuar in Leap of Faith. So I'll just quickly go here. So what I might do is I'll just show off some of the attractions in this episode. The next episode we'll do the actual event. So this is Mini Cacpot. It's a game, yeah, simplicity, blah blah blah. So you basically want to get a row of numbers, and depending on what that row of numbers equals, will depend on what you get. So for instance, if all your numbers add up to 6, you get 10,000, all your numbers add up to 24, blah blah blah. So ideally what you want to be looking for is 1, 2, 3. So unfortunately we didn't get 1, 2, 3, so we want to be looking, okay, let's grab this. Okay, so we got 459. It's not bad. Right, and then you can do that 3 times a day. They used to actually cost a lot more. But they've been reduced to 10 MGP each, so the profit is quite large. Yeah, so unfortunately we didn't get too much, but still an enjoyable amount. We also got a quest for looking at that. This is the voucher. You basically just use it and you get 100 MGP free. So at the moment we're sitting pretty at 6,000. Not a lot. You know, there are mounts. The most expensive mount I think is 2 million. There's one called Fenrir, which is like a massive wolf thing. That's 1 million. The 2 million one is basically just a big version of that. 750 for other stuff. Wildest dreams are ever but a card or chocobo's beak away from coming true. If this is your first visit, nothing would please us more to give you a full tour of the establishment. At the conclusion of the tour, it's a custom offer to esteemed patrons. For the sake of time and brevity, I won't read much of this. I'll just explain what's going on when we get to the point. So we'll just run over to the first bit. Now we've already interacted with this, as you saw before. This is the main counter where you can purchase tickets for mini Cacpot, blah blah blah, points. Blah blah blah. To the left. So this takes you upstairs, where you find the Lord of Verminion tables. So the Lord of Verminion is single player and multiplayer, so there are like puzzles, and I'll just leave the text on the screen so you can read that if you want. There are puzzles, so effectively they give you a scenario and you have to utilize that, or you can play against other players. And there's also chocobo racing up there, and a couple of other little mini-game things. The mini-game things up there are called Find Miner and Out on a Limb. And funnily enough, those two mini-games are actually how gathering used to work in the first version of Final Fantasy XIV. So that's kind of cool. Now, usually you could talk to this person and exchange gil for MGP, but unfortunately, as I said, we've already exceeded the limit. I know you've already used a sizable sum, so yeah. See, yeah, so 500 MGP. If you exceed 500 MGP, then you can no longer exchange gil for MGP. Which is a good way to, get you started, but stop you from trying to amass too much wealth. This is the Triple Triad area. So you can actually interact with that Triple Triad Master and they'll give you a tutorial. Triple Triad, well I don't have any cards so I can't really show you. But they're effectively cards, and they have numbers on each side, each edge. And depending on what the rules are, depends on what you have to do with that. So for instance, in some rules you just have to place a card next to an existing card and ensure that you have a higher number on that, and then you capture that. The person who has the most cards on the board wins, kind of thing. I haven't delved too deep into Triple Triad, Though you do get a lot of cards by not just playing. So a lot of the raids, alliance raids, a lot of the some of the dungeons, they have cards associated with them. So it's something to collect. And there are triple triad NPCs throughout Eorzea, basically. So this isn't Cliffhanger. This is the other one that I was talking about. And recently they added Mahjong, and actual Mahjong, not the Mahjong that you would be playing on Windows or whatever. She's just explaining the gatekeep that we just did with the Leap of Faith. So yeah, this one's another jumping puzzle. But this one and Cliffhanger, which is actually where we went for Leap of the Faith, that area there. That's where Cliffhanger is. They both have bombs that spawn to kind of speed you up. So these aren't as difficult jumping puzzle wise, but they require you to be fast on your feet. Also, cool little trick. Way to get up here. And this is where the jumbo cackpot is. So it's literally a lottery. You pick 4 numbers. They draw the number every week. For this server, it ends up being like Saturday at 6 o'clock or something, for me anyway. And based off the number they draw, if your last number matches, if you're then second last and last, third last and last, and then all 4 numbers match, that determines your winnings. There is a gate that takes place here. Actually, I think there's a few. But the more common one that pops is called Anyway the Wind Blows, and it's really annoying. It basically, you pick a spot in this area, and then hope and pray that the spot that you pick is not the spot that the NPC picks and knocks you off. The Jumbo Cackpot is theoretically the best source of MGP, but it's heavily RNG based, like the lottery is in real life. So lottery can get you a lot of money, but it's really unlikely that you'll win it. And that's the same with the Jumbo Cackpot. So that's all she would explain. Basically, you get the tickets from there, and when it's drawn, it's there. It's kind of cool if you're here at the exact time of the draw. It actually shows you like a thing pops up here, and it goes through and picks the numbers. It's pretty cool. I've seen it once or twice, but. I should be interacting with the Aetherites, but I haven't been. Go down there. Alright. And so we're about to go into the Cliffhanger area. Maybe? Yeah, it's up there. This is the Cliffhanger one. So again, not as difficult, or technically difficult as the Leap of Faith, but you are sped up because there are bombs that spawn. So yeah. That's it. Let's go back and turn in this quest. Get some more MGP. Now, once we unlock the challenge log, there are actually relevant challenges in here, and you get MGP with them. So that's a good source of MGP as well. Oh, and fashion. The fashion. Oh, I can't remember what it's called now. Anyways, they basically give clues, and you've got to rock up in that outfit, and you get like 60,000 MGP a week. And if you're not so inclined to figure it out, you can actually visit the Final Fantasy XIV subreddit, and they generally theory craft it out, and then they post their findings. They're actually pretty good about it too. It's very nicely presented. Like they'll give you the information so that you can go and create your own outfit, or they'll just like suggest easy outfits to get. Like AKA, the term easy is used for stuff that's easily accessible. So sometimes it will require you to get like rather rare gear or something like that. Yeah, so I won't read this, just a side quest thing, and save time. But if you wanted to read it, you can just pause the video and read it. Alright, so let's grab these. So these don't give you MGP, they give you a free play at anything that's not the Jumbo Cakebot, the Mini Cakebot, Chocobo Racing, and Triple Triad. So there you go. You can go to the price claim, so you can get like a lot of it's just cosmetic stuff. Like they don't have amazing stats, but you know, still interesting. And things like the Gambler's Trench Coat, and you can get the bunny outfit that the other people have. Stuff like that. You get a pig head. There's dances and minions, and that's the Fenrir mount that I was talking about. And that's a big chair, and yeah, all sorts of stuff. You can also buy like mini games for your housing if you are lucky enough to have a housing. What have they got? Oh, Air Force One. Let's quickly do Air Force One, and then we'll call it an episode there. This is going to be a really long one, considering this has got 40 minutes on the board, and I haven't added in the cutscenes. So I'll just show you Air Force One quickly. It's an on-rail shooter. It's kind of it's enjoyable. It has the same reward as Leap of Faith. But if you don't get a perfect run, you don't get the same amount. And you only get one shot, so. Now this is pretty. I'd imagine it would be pretty difficult on the console version of the game. Playing on PC, this is relatively easier, or the barrier to entry is lower. So you don't want to hit these things, obviously. They make them look sinister for a reason. It's also a good way to see various angles of the gold saucer. Oh no! I knew I was going to do that the moment I moved over my mouse over there. Oh well, doesn't matter. But yeah, we'll be 20 short, as you can see, which means we don't get the full amount, which means we actually get knocked down a whole 1000 MGP. Because it's 4000 for a perfect run and 3000 for an imperfect run, but we get 4,500 because of the event. So we miss out on 1500. Alright. So, sorry, I just had to clear my throat there. With that, we will call that a episode, and next episode we will do the event quest for here, and then we will go back to a hero in the making, the hero making quest, which should get us the on the way to the green companies. So, catch you later.